that phone before I read from Helga and talk about the beauty of this. I mean, the way I work poetry, the way that David and I worked it, is, you know, I originally got fired from the state of Texas in the year 2000 for reporting a case of racial discrimination. I did win the lawsuit. It took 2.5 years, but I won. So you can't actually sue the state and win. But what I did at that point was with Craig, who edited Helga, by the way, by Press, and is the publisher of this one as well, started drawing and writing every day is kind of something that I had to do. And so what I learned was that to just write, just start anywhere. I remember being at some poetry reading at Book People where someone was saying, I have nothing to write about, I have nothing to write about. And I'm like, well, start writing there. I have nothing to write about. I'm standing in a room in Book People of poetry and I have nothing to write about. And just go with that. That's where to start. And so when David and I started this, you just start anywhere. Everywhere is the center of the universe. Everywhere is the center of the universe. Every place is a place to start. This was the genius of Homer, starting in medias res. Of course you start in the middle. Where else do you start? Because things have happened before, blah, 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 blah. And so it's been really a wonderful process of doing this. I started writing every day once I got fired. And so that's been happening for now over 16 years. The one day I didn't write was the day my father died. But other than that, every day, and you know, most of that stuff's shit, but you write every day. I mean, that's a lot, you know, every day. Eventually, you know, if you get better, you get better. And plus there's always a surprise. And that's the beauty of working with David, it's always a surprise, and you want to be surprised. I interviewed Larry McMurtry, and he talked about his book, The Last Picture Show, and how he started with those two boys meeting at that crossroads, which happens at the end of the novel. And he says, I wanted to know how they got there. He had no idea, he had no plot. He just had this vision of two boys meeting at the corner of this very small town in Texas. And then he had to figure out how the hell they got there. And that was what he does. He doesn't know. And that's the beauty of writing. Don't fucking know. Don't know. Please don't know. If you know it already, you know it. But, you know, that always bothered me. Write what you know. I don't want to write what I know. I already know that. I want to write what I don't know. Because what I don't know is something that's going to help me. Because God knows I need help. No, I'm very lucky, very happy. I retired from the state and married this wonderful woman, and everything has been much better since. But basically, yeah, write what you don't know. Please, write what you don't know. I mean, you start with what you got. You don't get rid of your experiences or your intelligence or your learning or your education. You have to make use of that. But basically, you know, just take that and go out into the ocean, someplace where you don't want to go. And that's what it's been like writing with David, is I never know what he's going to send back. And I can't compete with his humor. I mean, the heat and humidity, I mean, that will always, you can't compete with that. So anyway, I did move to New Mexico a little over 3 years ago. And Craig had noticed that my poetry changed a lot. I was a lot happier. And my poems seemed to be less angst-ridden and much more, I don't know, happier. So anyway, this is from Helga. There's no more copies here. They sold all their copies, so sorry about that. But you can order it online. Go to Amazon, look up Richard Scow Williams, Helga, and I'm sure you can find it. The same thing with last word, first word. But anyway, I'll just read a few from this, and then we'll go back. This is called Fuego Hombre. Because I cannot stay in that false cocoon of longing, I fear not being real more than I fear not being safe. I say, feed me your world, and I will feed you mine. Yes. And do not ask me to burn for burning's sake, to be a fire without a night of stars breaking to hours, to trembling in the presence of someone unafraid to be seen, falling apart. I actually have some humorous ones in here, but let me go to 101, because I know that one. I'll just end on that one. Just two, so we can get back to this. Many can wound, do wound, and pick at the scars, and you wince, wondering what mercy could harm the history of abuse. My friend says we come now to the end of such things. The world now suppurating in wounds too many to count, more than ready to form a weaving of scars. I do not want to look away from it all. I want to rub my scars and remember how kind the flesh to love me enough to remind me we live in a world that is always ready to heal. Yeah, I like that poem.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. So, and it was such a gift too that like we started this process when they were getting ready for their wedding, and they made everything for their wedding. They sewed their own clothes, and they made rattles, all the stuff. So those things would show up in the poems, and it's always a very shiny place. Like whenever I read his poem, it would like turn on all the happiness molecules, and just seeing it, and then being able to go out there and see the wedding, that was fun, and then being able to continue the process. He's like every day, and I'll like space out for 3 or 4 days, and then I'll send him like 3 to try to catch up, then he'll send him 3 back that day. So it's like, oh wow, I'm not caught up. But he's forgiving, thank God. So it all works out. But we can just do wabi-sabi now, right?
Yeah.
This is advice for telemarketers aren't such a problem now, but there was a time before caller ID and whatnot, you'd answer and they'd, hello sir, can I sell you? So this is advice for if that happens. Answer the phone like you just had your 3rd shot of whiskey and your last cigarette in the pack, but have 3 more packs in the carton in the closet and another bottle in the cabinet below the sink. That way you will sound relaxed, and when the telemarketers call, you can calmly listen to their questions and talk very slowly and deliberately and go into excruciating detail and even get sidetracked quite a bit while talking to the imaginary dog and the imaginary kids and the imaginary wife and mistress having a fight in the apartment about something or other. You can't even tell what they are saying. You explain to the by now nervous telemarketer about to jump out of his skin. And of course, it isn't his fault. Everyone needs a job, but you have to draw the line somewhere. And if they ever call you again, you will continue to talk to them as if they are your therapist, who gets paid by the week instead of by the hour. And surely, after all that, they will highlight your name and put warning signs and do not call recommendations, and perhaps even erase your name from their files eventually, because time is money, money is time, and ain't no honey for you here, now, bye.
Yeah. See, it's just. Okay, so I'm going to read something from this one. This is the funniest one in this book. It's called Hazardous Work. I get jealous when she reads the American Poetry Review and says, "This is a good one, you should read it." And I say, okay, and then don't, because what if it just proves to me that I should take up car mechanics or the priesthood, focus on the stock market, bitch about Obama or childproof pill bottles? God damn it, I'm an American, ha ha ha. There it is, I get jealous thinking someone else has pissed on this already. No wonder we keep hearing God bless America. Maybe one day it will take. And when I read the damn poem, I will say, yes, it is really quite good. I wish I wrote as well as that. I think we'll renew the subscription. And I read this poem to her and she says, "It's good you're exposing yourself." And I smile as she reads another and she says, "Oh Christ, this guy just gives me a headache."
Well, sometimes I get these in the morning, like I just open the computer and look, and I'm still in dream zone. And this one, I just felt like putting a period at the end of every word, pretty much. And that makes it almost impossible to read. So I'm going to read it without, you should read it without any punctuation, I think. So if you stumble on this one, if you happen to see the book, just ignore all the punctuation. You, who is I, not new, old before time, but who is you, this you, I talk to, meaning I, on paper, then read and think you, me, someone listening, might think them, not them, just me or everyone, you in general. You takes the spotlight, light in my eyes, me, this you. You walk outside, I walk outside. You think again, I think again, owning it, dispersing it, shrugging it off, projecting it. I am you, not you. I, not me, all of us, lots of us, a lot of us. One then another, this one then that one. They don't agree about me, who I am supposed to be, who you are, or we apart together, not one, many, no one, alone, not any, one and then some more over there. Which one? Put it over there. No, there. I can't decide. What do you think? What do I think? I think maybe. I think I don't know. I think I am imaginary. I take up space. I am not space. I am emptier than space. I am everywhere. I am nowhere. I don't exist without the other, watching. One is watching, commenting. No, not commenting. That's another. One is, you are. I mean, where?
I'm going to read this one just to show you what David responded. Exhale. Call out. There are years rising in the want of days. And she says, where we wait, we bless the having. Come this far, the water is still in blood and milk in the mouth, ready to be needed, born. Weather breathing, take in the world, call it out, call it in, and the stars and the cats on the windowsill, the whales breaching the moon, the fountains of Rome, dew on a stone, and she has no need to hold her breath. Death is not the arbiter of love or my air. And so he sent back this about air. So, which is hard to read as a poem. Air. Ah, air.
And when you put the book together, I saw that. I hadn't seen it in a couple of years. I was like, I wrote that? So, how are y'all doing? Like, can do 2 or 3 more? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this last word was future. Future, imaginary, and day glow, slow-mo, cotton candy, lightning, and jazzy Jetson cars. Lenny Bruce giving the news on channel WOW, number 23 on your dial. Timothy Leary selling Learjets to the tune-in, turn-on, drop-out farms somewhere up near Canada. Daydreams covering city streets and unicorns leisurely strolling through the malls. All the hip-hop gangbangers gone all peaceful and Huggy Bear style with bless yous and amens and painting all the neighborhoods with Rasta colors. No one needs drugs. It's all in the water now. And what isn't in the water is in the new chips of the singularity, brain machine man mind, silicon evolution from biosphere. Put enough intelligence in the organism and the soul appears for free. Just part of the bargain, the whole scenario. Even the chess machines feel at one with the universe. It's much calmer in the future, everyone fulfilling their wildest dreams and creative potentialities. The only thing missing is the friction to like strike a match, to like light a fire, to like run wild with desire and smoke a cigarette and lean against a jukebox, not knowing what will play next. And when some teeny bobber asks me, "What are you rebelling against?" I just can't wait to say, "What do you got?"
This will be from volume 2. This one was just a few days ago. The last lines that David gave me was "broke 'em." And we agreed early on that sometimes we just take a couple of words from the last sentence or some words from anywhere in the poem. But these were the last 2 words in his poem, "broke 'em," apostrophe E-M. Broke 'em. The cowboy spit, a fine plug of tobacco, the old cosmos in a tizzy, old moon like a fat dog turd, whitened in the widow's sun. A mountain of buffalo bones painted blood red, marking every mile between St. Louis and the Frisco Bay. Is it shame that keeps us here, gnawing at history's haunch? Inured by gossip columns, by government corruption, media shrillness coupled with its corporate bias, individuals throw off their reasoning powers, give up the exercise of discernment, believe only the worst or nothing at all, save whatever was true at X years old. Fixated on sex and, oops, that'll work, but it's wrong. Poetry's fun, man. You can start anywhere, We are all thumb suckers. Corporatism, a cancer of capitalism. Fewer than 3 months after the fall of the Berlin Wall, a McDonald's opened in Moscow, USSR. Fewer than 2 years after that, USSR was kaput. Between 1979 and 2007, after-tax income of households in the top 1% grew by 275%, compared to 65% for the next 19%, under 40% for the next 60%, and 18% for the bottom 20%. Or as one economist, a Mr. T.L. Hungerford has it, reduction in the top tax rates appears to be uncorrelated with saving, investment, and productivity growth. The top tax rates appear to have little or no relation to the size of the pie. The rich are getting richer at the expense of the rest, where the rate of employment commensurate with the claims of those who justify the low tax rate. On the wealthy, there would be full employment at this juncture. Right? Right? Oh, Cheshire. Arguments for guns fail unless I own a battleship or an F-15. Corporations are a cancer of capitalism. Lies travel at the speed of light. Truth, a tortoise. Let me repeat, corporations are cancer, a slow death. Were we being jocular, the appearance of D. Trump, a cartoonist caricature of a weasel with a plutocratic inheritance as a serious candidate in an idiocracy, would be satire worthy of a Petronius or the nose wagging of a Catullus. What would Twain or Bierce or H.L. Mencken have to say? George Carlin or Lenny Bruce W.B. Yeats had us trudging to a Motel 6 in Bethlehem, full of fulsome furiousness, but he inclined hair shirt anon, screaming naked, I do not want your beaver hat, your silk cravat, my sweet fat in a rich man's vat, pudenda on a stick after the massacre at Sand Creek. Does that make you sick? It should. Shivington was a preacher. Yeah. Be kinder to the poor. They deserve it more than bankers. Politicians, bootlicks of those who own entitlement. If the world were fair, we're fair. When a cook makes a fine burger, get back to the kitchen and thank them. Things end. Mercy, trust, love, indifference. Follow to the sea. How did we get here? The origin of the word gurney is unknown. Break me entire. I only want to leave my last breath in love. To hell with all else. Thank you. Thank you. That's in volume 2.
I'll read 2 more. One's kind of short, one's a little longer now. And then you want to take it home?
Sure.
I want to read this short one because it's one of those I wrote really early in the morning, and I had to look up like half the words after I wrote the poem. But I didn't like these words came out. It's like, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, let's put it down. And I looked them up later, and they sort of fit. But I don't really know what they meant. Now inside the thunder whispers of another room, disjointed arabesque of mountainous fortitudes, wall over sycophants like Houdini penumbra. Whichever way, upside down, space is everywhere. Fire burns always since time began counting. Everyone loves a disguise when running from the law, but no one can run from the silver-lined epiphany of our deliverance. So I had to look up penumbra and arabesque and all of them.
Somewhere in here is palimpsest. He didn't know what palimpsest was.
I still don't. I don't.
One of my favorite
Look it
words,
up.
palimpsest.
You can tell me after.
Yeah.
Let's see, the last word was burning. Burning in a fire of memory and confusion. Where is the present moment? I know it's around here somewhere. I'd like to erase my presets, please. There's a little prediction module interfering with the perceptual richness of the here and now. So could you reset the assumption vehicle and put it back on fascination and wonder? Expand the perspective, a wider lens to take it in, the possibilities of the thing or whatever. I mean, just sort of sync up my brain and heart and body in a relaxed observational mode, ready to respond however intuition guides, taking nothing personally and feeling no danger and understanding everything is like love, Could you reset that for me? Do I have to leave myself here or can you do it telepathically? And could you get it finished by Saturday? That would be really great. Yeah, I know you have expenses. I think I'll just put it on my credit card for now. Okay? Great. Thank you. Thanks for doing that.
Okay, well, we run from volume 2 and then end on something from the work here. Right. This is, again, David's last word was reboot. Reboot, replenish, relinquish, return, regret, revert, reiterate, retire, revive, shy, plum-colored cloud wings, damask pinkish breath, tangerines of Italy, the California hills of Ojai, memory of Santa Fe adobe on Garcia, where we were lovers before we dared admit it. She was married and so was I. All we needed was to learn how to cook the flesh of a wild salmon. We bathed in the music of crisp waters, white, blue running where the painters of heaven slept through barking dogs, screaming wind. The phone will never stop ringing. I will love my way into blue, her chorus of moonlight. Longing is not a ghost, but a steady destiny. Bless the betrayed. The betrayers must break the king to die. Twice become dead to who you were, to who you were told to be. Those who lie, those who kill, those who clown around in Copenhagen, those who listen to their out-of-tune pianos, badly playing Ode to Joy, damning life, God Save the King. There are 7 of them, and they push the truth of being. Listen to disappointment. It drives you home. She said she felt bad disliking the woman. I said disliking her may enlighten her. It is a good thing to have enemies. Old science is a closed system. The grand unifying theory must account for X without colonizing X. You can swear you are done and not be done. Resurrection. Make every breath a resurrection. I will never forget the memory of your flesh. Again, we had the last words again so many goddamn times, I cannot tell you. But this is the last again. Again, forgetting, remembering, throwing a stone into the emptiness, spend years drawing the chords, the fountains, blooming arcs, trying a trial transcendence. Love is not transgressive. The stream of living images needs no Buddha, no Christ, no merchandise to fill the bags. Goodbye to shadows, to a sword and the knot, a carry, a red lion, a soft sorrow, a truth that wants its secrets thin-skinned and bruised, ripen with desire seeping down. The stars are holes we cover with dreams. Push away the rust of old certainties and bring fire to the bowl.